what is up on this beautiful Tuesday evening? And I just realized that I done fucked up again, and I'm going to go ahead and load this up while we're talking. But welcome everybody out there in the comment section, everybody watching all around the world. First of all, thank you for all the birthday wishes. I didn't really get to say that last month, I don't think. But unfortunately, there was still a huge segment of people that forgot that the birth date that I have on my current profile had to be changed so Facebook would allow me to come back. So I had what was it? I think I woke up about 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning, and Kelsey tells me, you have like 55 messages on your Facebook. And I said, this is why I made a post last month telling everybody that don't pay attention to what happens in December. It's in November, goddammit. And I ended up with 125 of them motherfuckers. And here was the funny part. I had a really good laugh at this. Some of them were repeat people that told me happy birthday last month. I'm like, did you guys just think that I was born twice? Am I one of the characters in one of King Diamond's albums? I was born, I died, I got born again.
I had to make sure Rebecca wasn't one of them that did it twice. I was like, wait a minute, was you one
of
them?
No. She totally was not one of them. So thank hell. Yeah. So thank you for everybody that did for both months, because apparently some people did miss that little bit of information last month. So, but speaking of birthdays, how fucking cool is it that got rid of that real quick. That we are doing our Tracks of the Damned on the original Prince of Darkness's birthday. Happy 76th birthday to Ozzy Osbourne, the icon, the legend of metal, the grandfather of heavy metal. And, most importantly, the reason that almost every single one of us are here as metal fans, because if it wasn't for what him and Black Sabbath did, we would not be here. So, I definitely have to hoist to you, sir, to even more longevity and health.
Nobody thought that motherfucker would make it this damn long.
That's what I'm saying, man. The fact that he has made it this, he beat Lemmy.
That's fucking nuts. But then again, Lemmy had that hard lifestyle too. Pretty much about as hard as Ozzy did.
Well,
I don't think Lemmy was more of the with alcohol.
He wasn't drugs. Crazy though.
Yeah, but he wasn't. I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure he didn't do as much drugs as Ozzy did.
Oh man, nobody wrote the book on cocaine like old Grandpappy Ozzy did. Let me tell you.
I watched that video every time he's sitting there, like he said, the doorbell starts going, it's knocking at the door or something. It's fucking cops, and there's a giant bowl of cocaine on the table. He's freaking the fuck out, trying to figure out what to do with it.
Oh my goodness. Hey Kyler, what's going on, brother? He said, who, when, what now? No, we were just talking about how it's Ozzy's birthday today. And it's amazeballs to me. Mortimer there. What's going on, brother? And Lizzie. Happy birthday to a legend in the Blizzard of Oz. They didn't call him the Blizzard for nothing, because damn it, he always made it.
That's a lot of white.
But what what we're here to talk about tonight, everybody, is we have made references more than once to this. I've talked about it with obviously my significant other, and all of us have, is that everybody has a soundtrack to their life. That there are songs that since you were in little fucking short pants to the adults that we are today, and metal has given us some of the most amazing songs that can pinpoint. Now, obviously, 10 is not going to be enough. There's no fucking way. I can honestly say that this list was extremely difficult to come up with, to narrow it down. But this is just a taste. We're giving you a taste of what our individual soundtracks are. So everybody out there in the attic section, out there in the Morgrot universe, first of all, share this shit out. Anywhere and everywhere there is a metal lover, I don't give a fuck. Wake up your auntie, your mama, grandpappy Jones, get your sister, your cousin, little niece. I don't care. Get them up and get them watching this show, because this is definitely going to be a lot of fun. We want to hear the songs that you would choose as part of your life's soundtrack, because you'll find out just as hard as it is for us to do it as it would be for you to do it. But before we get into all this awesomeness, we're going to take a quick commercial break to our new sponsor over there in Hotlanta. That's right. Horror Struck Hot Sauce, because it's hotter than hell and it tastes so good, makes you want to punch your mama in the face. Check it out. Get over to horrorstruckhotsauce.com. Get yourself an epic pack of all of the lines that he has currently, flavor-wise. It is the Yule season, and it is time to make sure that we get the hot sauce lover in our life, or yourself even. If you want to give yourself a little gift, nobody said that was wrong. Get over there, save, I believe it's 20 or 30% right now. That you can get any of these awesome flavors. Personally, the Lament configuration is my favorite. It is garlicky goodness. So, and I know that Defiler over there has his favorite as well.
That's the devil's backbone. I love that shit.
Mm-hmm. Literally, Saturday night, he said, I put that shit on everything. Next thing you know, Rebecca's going to get basted like a Thanksgiving turkey.
I don't know. There's some things the flavor is already perfect. You just leave it alone.
That's true, too. I just thought it might be funny.
That's a different show, though.
Most deaf. All right, let's get down to it. Oh, man, we already got some already picked out down here. Holy shit. All right. Kyler might be right. He says Ozzy is going to outlive us all.
We can only fucking hope.
That is because this man is a bona fide fucking science experiment. Doctors are baffled how it is that he's still alive. But we are grateful. That's for sure. Let's see. Kyler also goes on to say, my life is Korn, Slipknot, and Marilyn Manson. Honestly, can't go wrong with any of them.
I almost picked a Slipknot song, and I didn't do it. I went another route with it.
I didn't do it either because I figured it was a little bit too predictable. I wanted to pick some different things. Oh, nice. No More Mr. Nice Guy, Alice Cooper, and 18. Yes, both of those tracks. Fan-fucking-tastic. Ooh, here's another good one. Weird Al, White and Nerdy.
That song lives in the back of my brain rent free.
Right.
That one in the Star Wars parody he did. I can't remember the damn name of it, but
I'm sorry, Kyler. I did not mean to give you that image in your head, but there is an image in your head that I know still lives there. What image would that be, Brother Defiler?
Danzig nipple.
When you're not feeling so good, there's the lazy nipple. It's the lazy nipple song.
What the fuck?
I haven't played that one in so long. That was just perfectly placed. I'm so sorry. Maybe
Kyler, that's how you know we've missed you, bud.
That's right. Exactly. Just a little razzing. But at the same token, it's Tuesday. And what day is that, Brother Defiler?
Testicle Tuesday.
You got it. I keep saying this over and over again. I need to totally go through all the Austin Power movies again every time I play that skit.
The only one I've watched all of them like a million times, but for some reason, fucking Goldfinger is the only one that sticks out of my brain.
I'm sorry, Kyler. Well, you know we love you. You know that we love you. We do. And just remember, we also have to have that image.
I own the record, Kyler.
Into
So
our eyes, huh?
I said I own the record, so
I know. That means you have to look at it. Think about that, Kyler. Defiler has to look at that every single day.
and I think it's about midways or all the way to the back of my record stack in that bin, but it's in there.
But you know that at any given moment, that lazy nipple is going to jump out and surprise you.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into this awesome look into what our metal soundtracks of our life looks like, or potentially. We'll say potentially.
Mine has a lot more metal, and it can go across genres too. I can think of some outlaw country songs I could have threw in there too,
and that would have been fine.
I just stuck with metal. That's where my home is. That's my heart. So.
Most def, man. What you want to kick it off with?
We've already mentioned it, kind of, but the grandfather of metal himself, Black Sabbath. I don't know, something about when that rain and thunder hits, and Tony hits that fucking riff. It's just it does something that no other music can do. So.
Ah, man, it's like when that riff hits and he does that vibrato on the neck, it just made you feel evil.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say is like, you're about to go into something that you, at that age, depending on what age you found Black Sabbath, I found it as a kid. It just gave me that feeling like I was doing something fucking wrong and I liked it. So...
I mean, when I first heard that, I was 8 years old, 7 or 8. It was definitely 7 or 8. I can remember because my dad had an original pressing of "We Sold Our Souls for Rock and Roll." So you had the best of the first record, and then, of course, the hits off of Paranoid. And there was just nothing like it, especially if you had a vinyl record player, because that would just put that eeriness, like, what the fuck is about to happen? Did I just open a portal, if you will, to another dimension that everyone around me keeps talking about?
That's what I love about vinyl. Like I have a newer vinyl player, and I have my mom's that she got when I think she was 13 years old.
Yeah.
And like there's so much of a difference between those. This one's clear, but when you put it on an old record and you have that static and that fuzz, and then when everything just hits, I love it.
Oh man, apparently Rebecca has gone rogue here. Sorry, y'all. I got lost in stuffing my face with peanut butter cookies. I'm here, but like cookies. And obviously, Lizzie also says cookies. Totally understandable. We had an apple cobbler. Fuck. Kyler says, did you bring enough for the class?
She's been making them all damn days. I'm pretty sure there is.
Right. Oh, no. Really? She's like, Kyler, there's 4 left. Well, how many did you?
Yeah.
Never mind. We're not going to get into that. That would take us.
She's been on a peanut butter fix here lately.
Then, hey, nothing wrong with the peanut butter. Okay. Not a stranger in this house. Awesome first choice. Damn. And remember, guys, this really isn't in any particular order. It's not like rank or anything like that. I just thought about all the different decades for me of that journey, and there was always like that one song that really put it out there. So obviously Sabbath is also on my list, but I'll save that one for later, and because there's a great story behind it.
I did it as like kind of like an evolution, I guess, where I started at as a kid, and like the progression of my music taste getting heavier. Yep. I guess you could say.
I did it the exact same way, brother. Okay. So I will start out with one of the. Now, obviously, I discovered King Diamond before I discovered Merciful Fate. That was one of the beautiful things about solo acts that got real popular, especially in this country. That once you discovered them and everybody just goo goo gaga'd over them, like, you know, they were just the most amazing solo acts. Well, they always had a band that they started from. So when it came to King Diamond, once I had found, you know, Fatal Portrait, the first record, obviously I was instantly in love. And then, of course, you know, back in those days, we read magazines like Hit Parader, Metal Edge, you know, Circus, all of the big metal magazines that were always talking about shit that we didn't know existed, and now it's here. So, but when I found Merciful Fate, and my first introduction to them was the Melissa album. So for me, when I heard the first cut, now mind you, this was on cassette.
Oh yeah,
it's way fucking better on vinyl, but still on cassette. And I put those fucking earphones on and heard Evil for the first time by Merciful Fate. This was, man, just before I discovered Anton LaVey and the Satanic Bible. And every word in this song just epitomizes, in my opinion, what real evil is. I mean, it is super, super dark. The words are so blasphemous. And this wasn't even black metal at the time, guys. This was just like really heavy, you know, kind of almost thrashy, sometimes proggy. You know, obviously with King's amazing fucking falsetto voice. And you're just listening to the chorus. I would love to see you die, because I can't sing that high. And I'm sitting here going, You know, I could think of a few people that have pissed me off. I can relate to this as a kid, you know. And I was already into all things spooky. I was into Hammer horror. I've seen Michael Myers. I've seen, you know, Jason. Freddy hadn't come along just yet. So up to that point, I was already hooked on the Universal monsters. So I kind of like connected this song with horror, with the mysticism of, oh, what you shouldn't do. So that's definitely my first pick.
I can do that high pitched voice like King Diamond, but it fucking hurts like hell. I can't that much.
After a while, yeah, I can do a grandma's, you know, welcome home every now and again on a good day.
Mine's Down in the Hole by Alice in Chains. Every now and then I could hit that shit just right, but afterwards my throat's like, fuck you.
Why was that like the drunk guy's favorite song to sing by them? You know, it would be like a group of buddies just, you know, at the bar, getting fucking smashed, and they all start singing Down in a Hole. Oh, man. Excellent fucking song. Excellent fucking song. Ooh, Mortimer's got quite a, well, shit, there's all, what? Let's see here. Lizzie says it's like, whose line? Nothing is in order and the points don't matter. No, actually, it does matter. We're going according to when we were little to who we are today. Mortimer says Jack the Ripper by Motorhead. Excellent fucking song.
Hell yes. I'm glad somebody put Motorhead out.
Mm-hmm. Kyler says, Korn, let's get this party started. Don't let the name fool you. Yeah, we know the one. Mos Def. He also mentions Marilyn Manson, Dope Hat. Oh, yeah, that's a good one. That's classic. And he Mortimer goes on to mention Korn, Twisted Transistor. That was a pretty popular one for most people when that came out.
Man, that's the one that had the Exhibit and all them, and there's them rappers at the time acting as Korn. I remember Exhibits, and I don't remember who else, but
no, it was good. It was real good.
Yeah. That's
next one for you, sir.
My second one. I think the more I think about it, it's more like this one is going to be like my introduction for the love of like art and a little bit of horror as well. It's Meatloaf's "Bat Out of Hell." You know, as a kid, you're very visual when you're a kid. And my dad gave me this.
Big time.
My dad gave me this album on vinyl. Shit, I wasn't even a teenager yet, so that album, that cover there, just kind of piqued my interest in everything. And in the song, he says, "A man in the shadow with a gun in his eye and a blaze shining oh so bright, and there's evil in the air." I guess kind of what that's what kick-started my everything for horror and art is right there.
I mean that's fantastic. That's a really good point, man. One of the things, you know, especially being a kid in 1980, and I came across Rocky Horror Picture Show, and lucky for me, Mom didn't know. She didn't know too much about the movie, and she's like, well, you know, there's nothing super terrible in here. You know, she was a big, you know, review person. So she would read the fucking reviews. But I guess there was a couple things she missed. But to me, I really didn't care. I thought the movie was hilarious. And that was actually my first introduction to Meatloaf. And then I just kind of discovered more. Just from Rocky Horror Picture Show, which is still one of my favorite all-time musicals. I mean, spooky dooky all the way around. You add some fucking shock and awe. Yes, sir.
Yeah. That song and you took the words right out of my mouth. My favorite ones out of it.
Lovin' by the Dashboard Light.
Paradise by the Dashboard Light.
That's the one. Yep. I always say lovin'. I can't help it. But that was one of my all-time favorites. I loved, that's when I first kind of like fell in love with like heavy music that had, your male frontman and your female counterpart. I
Yeah.
always thought the banter back and forth was so badass. Hell yeah. Excellent fucking pick, man.
Like that one, and then
Oh.
your Kiss's Love Gun and Destroyer and all those had the same style art on it. That was my love for everything.
Fuck yeah, man. Because he had a dark allure,
Yeah.
but he was also like the token big sexy guy. Like people looked at him like he was hot. I mean, this dude was
That long hair and that red ascot.
right, and the frilly nilly cravat shirts
Yep.
and shit. I'm sitting there going, this guy's on top of the world. He's given me hope for the future as a fat kid that somebody might like me. I mean, well, hey, look.
That's how he got his nickname too. Is like that's how he come over Meatloaf, because people would call him that when he was a kid. So he just fucking took it and went with it.
Yeah. Lizzie says my parents showed me Rocky Horror Picture Show when I was 9, and the next day my mom got Bat Out of Hell 1 and 2 for me. That's awesome.
All three of those albums
Karen.
have killer
Karen
fucking
got the third
artwork
one.
on them.
Fuck yeah. Just a great singer. I agree with Mortimer. Meatloaf is definitely a music god. He kind of understood it. He got how he could blend, let's say, musical theater with heavy rock and gave us some fucking classics.
He's a fucking amazing actor too. And Black Dog with Patrick Swayze.
Yes, he was. Oh my goodness. Actually, he was really good in quite a few different things. Let's not forget when he showed up in The Pick of Destiny for Tenacious D. That was fucking great. And then Ronnie James Dio busted through and showed him what the fuck was up.
That man was so fucking small, but goddamn, he had a fucking presence.
Powerful. Fucking hell. Lizzie says we met up in Dallas and he was super nice. That's awesome. So good to hear. Rebecca says my mom used to play Meatloaf's "I'd Do Anything for You" for Love on repeat. Yeah, I mean, when he was one of the biggest comeback stories ever. I don't even think that they were paying the radio stations to play it as much as it did. The video, first of all, was very much, like Beauty and the Beast style.
Yeah.
You pair that with that man's voice and his powerful presence. And people that were, I guess, 30 and above were just like, this is fucking amazing. Next thing you know,
I loved about the Bat Out of Hell music video and You Took the Words Right Out of My Mouth. They're just on stage singing. There's no Paradise by Dashboard Lights. There's no bullshit to it. It's just them being them.
Mm-hmm. Riding that edge, man. Riding that edge, because there was a lot of hidden messages. Those dudes.
Tearing at the hole faster than any other boy has ever done.
That's right. In the 70s, that's what it was all about. How many euphemisms can we get away with? Fucking Led Zeppelin made their entire career based on that alone.
I love Led Zeppelin.
Fuck yeah. Absolutely. Let's see. I guess since we'll keep it kind of sort of in the same era, if you will.
Yeah.
Anything from 78 to the first few years of the 80s. Obviously, I had been trying my damnedest to be the best Christopher Lee Dracula or the best Frankenstein or any type of creature that I was studying as a young boy. Which obviously here I am acting today. Go figure. I literally was studying these guys, their movements, how to scare mom, could I scare my dad, the one guy that you couldn't scare. You know what I mean? Because he was an ex-Marine, all that bullshit. None of that shit scared him. He would laugh at monster movies, but he loved them though. So I was trying so hard, and then I discovered the amazing Misfits,
Oh,
and I'm
shit.
talking about the original Misfits. Look at young Glenn Danzig there on the bass drum. But when I heard the song Halloween by them, that just kind of became my anthem. I had to hear it every single Halloween on my playlist because, you know, we do the whole cassette tape thing where you had links and you can put your own songs on them, as long as the notches weren't busted out. But it was that one and King Diamond's Halloween. So that just kind of all encompassed, you know, horror for me was horror punk at that time because they were the ones talking about it the most until Diamond gave us Abigail and them, and then shit, everything went on from there.
Mm. I'm still learning King Diamond and Merciful Fate though. I'd heard of them, but I didn't really start listening to them till recently. So
Gotta start at the beginning, brother.
The Abigail album was the first one I listened to. So
great place to start.
Yeah.
Nothing against Fatal Portrait, but Fatal Portrait wasn't a total and complete concept record. There was a story there, but there were multiple stories going on. So once you got to Abigail, it's like unholy fuck. Stephen King just became a metal god. Oh, it's King. Diamond, that is.
Oh yeah. Let's see. Like I said, I did. Mine's going to have. It's going to jump dates. It's going to jump around because I kind of did it as a. But my next one is because I grew up in a shop. Like I grew up around hot rods. I grew up around the old school paint and all that. Mm-hmm. And that's where a lot of my music come from was my uncles and because they were the 80s hair metal and all that metalheads, and then gradually I just grew up in it. My next one is a song that for me gives me that feeling I got being in that shop. It's Rob Zombie's Dragula.
Yeah.
It has horror to it, and you know it's got the kind of like the monster feel of the car, and it gives me that old like Rat Fink, Ed Roth, Von Dutch style hot rods that I grew up around.
Fucking Rat Fink, man. Boy, does that take me back.
I love Rat Fink art to this fucking day. Like
everything is synonymous with Rat Fink for so long.
I lost my love for the racing world because I was in it for so damn long, and then I got to see where people just like they didn't want to race each other or nothing. They didn't want to race their friends. To me, if you're racing, you're there to see if you're faster than anybody. We can be friends when we leave, but I still have that love for the art that was with it, and that song just gives me that feeling of it. So,
absolutely. You know, and they always, you know, kind of referenced people who were into racing and stuff like that as speed demons and all that stuff. And I kind of feel like Rob Zombie pulled in, you know,
he's got a song called Demon Speeding. So,
so you could probably tell that he was a fan, but he was able to make it like spooky and cool.
Yeah. If I remember right, he was raised by Carney, so you know that kind of went all kind of like hand in hand. People jumping through hoops and shit back in the day. So
you know, because you know his childhood was much like mine. He said when he wasn't helping, you know, during the circus, the carnival, you know, him and his brother would be in there watching the old monster movies. So, you know, you could see how he could blend those together. So, hell yeah. Oh, did he? I did not know that. Lizzie said that Meatloaf had gotten branded as the sexiest man alive in '96. I
But
forgot about
goddamn, that's about 20 years too late. But fuck,
that, right? Well, that's because the 80s were so focused on actors.
Yeah.
Not so much musicians. But he could have hung with the best of them, I think.
The only person I ever remember getting that shit was fucking George Clooney. Like, that's the only person I ever.
And before him, it was oh my goodness, Richard fucking Gere, because of that Officer and a Gentleman
And the
movie.
gentleman. Yep.
And then he did Pretty Woman. So right there, he's like, he plays this rich guy who, falls in love with a hooker.
Every time I see that movie, I think about it. I think about his friend being
the fact that she was a hooker.
I think about his friend being Boohoo Boone and the Indian in the cupboard.
Yep.
That's all I think about when I see that movie. Because I loved that movie when I was a kid. I had the one that the key would open the case and all that shit.
Yep. So the next step in my childhood was definitely the first time that I was on the school bus. I think I was fourth grade. And by today's standards, this would just be probably considered blasphemy, as much as it was back then. But we were so fucking like swift about it. Nobody knew unless somebody got caught with it. And Venom's Black Metal got passed to me in the back of the bus one day. And that jump started me even further.
I think that's that should be
darkness.
That should be everybody's introduction to fucking black metal. They should start with that album and then just branch out. Go. Black metal is a vast genre. There's a lot of it. You can find it.
And that's the thing. That's one of the great things about it. It just takes that one album to get you to down the path of all the great bands that then came after them.
Oh yeah.
So for me, it was like, there's that symbol again. There's that upside down, pentacle. There's that star. There's the Baphomet. I keep seeing this goat, and I'm just so drawn to it. Guys, this wasn't marketed to me. I'm a kid of the 80s. That shit did not get marketed to me.
Mm-mm.
You found that shit by mistake. You found that by going into a record shop. There was no big displays. Very, very few shops would you ever see an album marketed like super hard. Like you would see the Blizzard of Oz for Ozzy, or you would see Slayer larger than life. But you wouldn't have saw fucking Venom Black Metal in a huge advertisement. So when that got passed to me, I was like, these guys are on to something. I like this.
Trailer Filth was kind of my gateway to black metal. Then I went to Venom and Mayhem and Emperor and everybody like that. So
yes, sir.
My next one is the farthest damn thing from black metal.
And that's okay.
It's which I love, like y'all know, I love horror movies. And then when I found a movie that would blend my love for metal and horror together, actually, this movie did it. It was Trick or Treat, but the song is performed by Fastway and Sammy Kerr in the movie. It does everything. It's like that rock and roll nasty lifestyle that every kid wanted, and it mixed Halloween with it and horror all together. So, and they, like I said, most of my songs are what gives me the feeling of my childhood or as I was growing up. And this movie and this song does that. It gives me that Halloween feeling, I guess you could say.
I mean, as a kid, in 1986, this movie comes out, and it was larger than life. I wish you could have been there when that movie dropped.
I do. Believe me, I do too.
Because during that decade, you know, when you were in high school or middle school for that matter, there was two types of kids: jocks and metalheads. There was no in between. It was us against them. And many of us had watched a show called Family Ties that Michael J. Fox that's how he got his stardom. But you take the nerd kid, Skippy, from Family Ties, and you put him into a full-on feature horror film as a metalhead, no less. Suddenly, that dude's credibility in the metal community blew like fucking sky high, because we're sitting there like, we live this every day. Why are they telling this story of our lives? And they plucked a first-rate professional dancer to play the bad guy, Sammy Kerr, the heavy metal god at the time, that everyone was just like oogling over. And it's this like dancer guy who's like not even into metal, but he nailed that shit. He did all those flips and all those, whatever dance moves and shit. I thought they did a fantastic job. You take Ozzy and Gene Simmons and throw them into the movie for cameos.
And Ozzy's playing a fucking preacher, no less, with fucking comb over blonde hair.
It was so perfect because they branded him as the devil in America at the time. I said, this is genius. We went to the movie theater to see it, and Fastaway, nobody knew who the fuck they were. But damn it, when they saw that movie, they knew who the fuck Fastaway was. People still wanted to believe that it was Sammy Kerr's music. No, that was
Fastaway
fucking playing all those tunes.
This is gonna sound fucked up, but it's one of my favorite records. But I have a Fastway album that I don't even really know where the fuck it come from. I can't remember if I found it somewhere or if it was still on some of the ones my dad gave me or what. But honestly, I don't know where the hell it come from. But it's a killer album. Dude's voice is fucking.
They were good. They were above hair metal good, if you know what I mean. Because
for me, it's the 80s. They could have just easily got fucking Vince Neil or somebody like that to do the voice of Sammy Kerr and just been done with it. But they took somebody that had a killer voice and wasn't that well fucking known.
Badass.
Yeah. And made him a fucking rock god, pretty much. But
instantaneously. And then unfortunately, as things went back in the 80s, you were hot for 2 years and away you went.
Yep.
But man, what a great fucking choice, dude. I absolutely love that.
What sealed it with one of my favorite deathcore bands is called Of Sulfur, and Ricky Hoover is the lead singer.
Mm-hmm.
And what sealed really made me like them more is when I seen them live and he had a fucking Sammy Kerr cut off t-shirt on.
Oh, that's
when
awesome.
I seen that shit, because he's muscled, he's bodybuilder type,
right.
But he had it, and it was we was pretty close to front row. I can't remember if we was exactly at front row at that one, but because there was a gate between the stage, and I was just watching. Next thing I know, I noticed he had Sammy Kerr on his fucking shirt, and that just kind of sealed it for me with them.
That's awesome. Moving into my high school years. My high school years were the 90s. Some people might argue with me, but I have said this. Man, how long has this show been on air? 2 years now. I will say it for the next 10. Fucking Alice in Chains deserves a seat at the table of metal. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. They very well could have been, in my opinion, the first metalcore band. They could have been just the first really good, straight up dark metal band. No frills, no thrills, just fucking impeccable harmonizing. This wasn't a new idea for metal fans because
I don't put them in grunge realm at all. They're not
No.
grunge for me.
The only thing that made them grunge was the fact that they were discovered in the same place at the same
Just fucking
time
Nirvana.
as Nirvana. And I even will make the argument that Soundgarden was metal. They were more metal to me than Nirvana ever could have been, especially fucking
Stone
Pearl
Temple
Jam.
Pilots,
I'm not
though.
even going to talk about Pearl Jam.
Stone Temple Pilots are more metal than fucking Nirvana.
Oh man, all the way around. But they pigeonhole shit. Well, in this case, there was a little album known as Dirt. And in high school is when I was really feeling, and I'm sure everybody out there knows this, that most high school kids are. That's when they're a little bit more. I mean, sure, you're supercharged as far as your hormones and all that bullshit. But at the same token, you're getting smarter. You see how things work. You see how the world works, right? And it was always, if you weren't popular enough, if you weren't rich enough, you were always thought less than. Well, when I saw the video for Angry Chair off of the Dirt album, which is my favorite album by them of all time, this was like something I had on repeat over and over again because I felt that. Now, mind you, the song really doesn't, it has more to do with addiction. Yeah. But you could still relate to it because of the words that you're hearing. Like, I don't know. I felt like there were two sides to me. And this is obviously where, Reaper was born long ago. I felt like there was another side to me, that darker side that I could never let out. And not just my satanic self, but just that darker part of me, the guy that is fearless and could take on the world and not give a fuck. You know what I mean?
That was like you just described Lane Staley in the best fucking way. I didn't mean to cut you. I didn't mean to cut you off. My bad.
No, that's really cool. No, I appreciate that. Because I was going to say, I mean, for someone who was plagued, by that type of addiction, was also kind of facing that same mentality. There was that side of him that he could communicate to the world through his music, but people didn't really know him off stage. Only his bandmates did. Only his friends knew him, for real. But he was able to get that out, and he gave us some of the most powerful fucking songs ever. Shit, I used to know guys that, for lack of a better term, were somewhat, had some mental issues. Would listen to Rain When I Die like over and over again. Just moments like that. That was a band that you could listen to and kind of like you could relate to it, but it would also pull you out. Somebody like, oh, somebody else feels this way too. That was something that was great about him.
That's I've watched the documentary about Lane a few times.
Sure.
And this is like everybody that was close with him seeing how fucking bad he was struggling. It's there toward the later years of Alice in Chains, it started to come out more publicly.
Right.
One of his last friends to see him alive, like he was in, I think when he seen him, he was in the midst of starting to OD.
Right.
And he wanted him to go to the hospital. And he said, if you call ambulance or whatever, if you tell anybody what's going on, our friendship is over. And he left. And when he left, they didn't find Lane's body for like 2 weeks.
Damn.
So it was bad. Like the last few pictures of him alive, you cannot tell that's Lane fucking Staley. It's just a skeleton with skin.
I don't even want to think about it.
For him, like with him and Chester Bennington, I think Chester was the Lane Staley of my generation.
I would agree with that.
I would agree with that. if they could have actually seen and felt how powerful their music was to everybody else, and had that same feeling, I think their lives would have been a hell of a lot different.
Big
But that's a sad note. We don't need sad notes.
Nope. Which is why we is rolling on.
My next one. All right, this one is like it took me years to realize this shit. The county and county I grew up in, it ain't worth a fuck. Like the more I listen to this song, the more it makes fucking sense. It's like the anthem for that county for me. The next one is Pantera's "Drag the Waters." If y'all know this song, y'all know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. It's a judge hiding every fucking thing for his kid or for some shit. And that's exactly how I feel about that county. If somebody would actually look into that place, they'd find a lot more bullshit than they'd actually want. And I think that's the reason it doesn't happen. But it's
a song about, people in power being able to use that power to keep themselves straight and basically screw everybody else.
Exactly. But I don't know. Yeah, it's all. This song's off Great Southern Trendkill, and that's one of Pantera. You know that Pantera's fucking massive album. So that's when everything was getting heavy and gritty and nasty. And
I mean, they were to another level. Not to be whatever you call that.
But
yeah, I got to piggyback off that because Pantera, Far Beyond Driven, was an album that hit me harder than the first ones that gripped me. Just because there were just some songs in there when they were kind of like in their breakdown phase. Like it was so fucking groovy. It could be so thrashy, but the grooves that hit harder. So for me, 5 Minutes Alone was like my anthem every single day that I would get up and have to go to school, and knowing that I had to face these people that I wanted to just kapow, kapow over and over again. That's what amped me up so that I would always stay, frosty, as they say. I am ready to go at any given moment. 5 Minutes Alone, that was my track.
Pantera's got so many fucking songs that just makes you want to
destroy things. Yes,
you just want to fuck somebody up.
And that wasn't the most extreme metal at the time either, folks.
No, but like it's
something
it's
about
like
that move.
We've had this discussion before. Rex is just there. I love the dude, but he's just there. Dime's guitar and fucking Phil's vocals together. It was a fucking massive machine. I don't think either one would have done as best that they did without the other one.
Agreed.
Back in that time. Now, Phil's got down and all the other stuff now, but back then,
that's it. That's all they had.
That's what built fucking Pantera.
Which is crazy because their first record, Down's first record, was 1995.
Yeah. I can remember it was in the 90s, but I didn't remember exactly when.
It was 1995 because I remember when they had their 25th, I think it was either their 25th anniversary of that. I think it was their 25th anniversary in my band, Black Tar Superstar. It was kind of like a contest, I guess. They wanted everybody to make, because it was during lockdown. So they were about to do it was either, like I said, the 25th or 30th anniversary. And they wanted, people to send in videos saying how Down affected them or just giving well wishes or whatever. So my band, during band practice, we fucking just recorded a video before we hit it kind of big on another level. And our video actually made it onto that that live stream.
That's bad.
Oh, dude, fuck.
I can imagine he could be an asshole, but I'd love to meet Phil one day. Like
Dude, he
I'd love it.
left his assholeness after he had that blemish on his credibility. Let's just call it that because I don't want to. We ain't talking about that.
Yep.
But that little blemish, man, he quit hitting the bottle as hard as he was, and dude's mellowed out. He's mellowed out a lot, but he still brings that fire and that passion.
Yeah.
Your next one, Sal.
Speaking of fighting,
Achilles, what's going on, brother, from Scotland? I'm so sorry. I just realized that he was here. And he said, "Hi, everyone. Here's a song that I keep listening to over and over again. It never bores me. Tonight, He Grins Again by Sabotage." Oh, Sabotage. Great fucking band.
my next one is going to be the early 90s Manson, I guess you could say. But I think it was early 90s.
Yep.
It's off
Early
Family.
90s.
Yep, it's going to be Lunchbox.
Mm.
Yeah, that's a little kid saying, "This motherfucker is going to get my medal." You know what the fuck is about to happen. He's about to whoop somebody's ass with that lunchbox.
Uh-huh.
And, I don't know. It's just, like, I don't know. You know when you're a teenager and you're coming up, you got bullshit. You deal with bullies. You deal with every fucking thing. You got to fight your way through shit.
Man.
And that song epitomizes that for me. That's just.
Oh, it started a movement.
Yeah.
Where he became the poster child for the weird, the different. He wasn't just like that guy for the spooky people. He was the voice of all the people that were picked on, cast aside, made fun of, all the heinous shit, and he brought awareness to that. And I think that song Lunchbox it just epitomizes, we ain't taking that shit no more.
He may have done questionable shit. We're just gonna say questionable shit but the man is fucking smart. He is being protested,
he's so
shit talked against, every fucking thing he can for the last fucking 30-something years, and he's still kicking everybody's ass.
Mortimer, yes.
Cake it out of me. I almost picked Antichrist Superstar. Almost. But I was like, everybody's going to expect that song.
Exactly. There was a piece of Antichrist in everyone's life soundtrack. Hello, Man That You Fear.
Yep.
Trust me, I know that my family back somewhere, wherever they may be, never thought that this is where I would have truly blossomed, and that's okay. That's because I hid it so well for so long that by the time I was into my early 40s, I said, "I'm sorry, I ain't hiding it anymore. I ain't apologizing. This is me. Deal with it." Sorry,
but it's fucking truth, though. Like,
it is.
Christianity preaches fucking fear.
Christianity never was part of.
I'm just saying, but like
so-called coming out, it was a very oppressive state that if you did, you would be bombarded with people going, "What's wrong with you?"
Yeah, but that's like my take on everything. Like, they preach fear. But like, what's the fucking point of a giant asshole in the sky playing chess with everybody's fucking life?
That doesn't exist. I feel that to the nth degree, brother. Excellent fucking choice right there. Staying with the groove of the 90s. There's actually a twofer there. Obviously, I'm only going to do one at this particular moment. And I'm looking for it. Are you telling me it didn't make it? I'm going to be so mad. I bet you it didn't. Let me double check here. It might be further up. Yep. So, my introduction to this next band was at a very pinnacle point in my life. When I hit my 20s, and I was in obviously college to get my music teaching degree, but everybody always says that that's the time that you discover things about yourself that you didn't know, blah 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 blah, whatever the fuck. I mean, I was already metal as fuck to begin with, but like I said, every part of my life there was a suppression of the darkness within me. So when finally I'm away from mom and pa, and I'm starting to build what truly is me, and it's always been there. This band was very instrumental. I mean, I did a lot of things. It's like I always tell people, I lived so much from 20 to 30 that most people don't do in a lifetime. And I did that shit. And I would definitely say, as far as what was that soundtrack, it was motherfucking Rammstein.
Oh, damn.
Rammstein, that album, Sehnsucht, is every like guilty, dark pleasure that you could ever fucking imagine. If you read the English translations. The song from that album that I pick is Engel, which actually the chorus in English actually translates to not goddamn, not an angel when I die. And that's because I am so far from being an angel, it's not even fucking funny.
Yep.
And it was just kind of like my homage to what everybody back home was thinking, like, oh, he's getting his degree and all this shit, but yet he's moonlighting in the red light district. So yeah. That was kind of like my sorry you didn't know.
Fucking Till Lindeman's a goddamn god, dude.
He is a lyrical. I mean, if you ever get a chance, people out there in the Morgarath universe, the man has written several poem books on poetry by this guy. He makes you think. He can take you into a psychosis that is just ridiculous. But at the same time, it's like really good food for thought, because he's very much on the side of like a liberator of the mind. And it's so people, they don't understand this, but I will say it anyway. Very satanic, because in thought and mind, it's freedom of expression. It's freedom of who you are, as long as you don't harm nobody or anybody that's with you, whatever. Everything is totally copacetic. So I really kind of like dug a lot of his philosophy.
He's another one that's getting up there in age, is still kicking ass too.
Dude, it's incredible, especially the Lindemann band.
Yeah.
They are levels above Rammstein. If you haven't checked out Lindemann, please do it. Heavy.
My next two is going to knock us back into the 80s for a little bit.
Nothing wrong with that.
My next one is
Man in Black by Johnny Cash.
Oh yeah, I love Johnny Cash. Like I love like Johnny Cash, Waylon Jennings. I love all that shit. But my next one is definitely not Johnny Cash. But anyways, it's Wasps. I Want to Be Somebody.
Yes.
The song title carries is my whole reason for picking this one. When you're coming up as a teenager, and hell, you don't have to be a teenager. You can start in your 20s or 30s, whatever.
Yep.
Exactly what that song says is what it's about. I actually want to be somebody in my life. It don't have to be no massive thing, but I want to be something better than I was.
Exactly. It's that passion. It's that drive. And to come such a positive message from one of the bands that was on, the PMRC.
Satanic Panic.
Yeah, that whole era. And that was like such a positive message coming from Wasp. That everyone, all of us metalheads back then really clung to when that song came out, because it's like, yeah, we may look the way we do, but fuck you, we still want to be somebody too. We're not going to end up like you think we are. We're not all going to be in prison and yada yada yada. So
that's what I loved about VH1 when I was a kid. Fucking Metal Mania would be on there, and they'd play all this shit. And I'd actually feel like back in the day, I get a glimpse in. There was a Metal Mania that I called it. I got the later Headbangers Ball when Jamie Jasta was from Hatebreed, and then Fuse had Uranium, so it kind of put everything together. That's what I loved. But seeing the older music videos from the 80s, I still love that shit. I love the grainy footage, especially Wasp's Wild Child.
Absolutely, man. And I was real thankful for that too, that there were shows that were still trying to like keep a spotlight, if you will, on, the really good moments of metal history from that decade, because, as the music business progressed, what happened, wiped it out.
I miss Behind the Music. I miss that show like crazy.
Oh, that was so good. You learned so much about so many prolific bands.
Yep.
Fuck yeah. Oh man. Since we're talking about like late 90s, of course, going into the 2000s, one thing that has always been, still to this very fucking day, I am an old romantic. And I don't mean that in an archaic kind of way. It's like the littlest things that mean so much. And when this album came out, there was no darker, more beautiful love song that you could ever give to somebody that you loved. And I feel like it even to this very day, it means more to me today than it did back then, obviously, because of who I was with at the time. But this song definitely epitomizes to me what actual true love means. Like it fucking hurts, but it hurts good. And that's Typo Negative's Love You to Death. I still wonder what today's world would be like if Peter Steele was still with us. Wherever you are, brother, we miss you. But man, he gave us one of the most iconic love songs to end all love songs in the darkest, beautiful way as possible.
Exactly. I love Typo Negative. That's always going to be in my top 5 bands for fucking ever, if they're not my top band.
Most def.
But yeah, his voice and like it was like no other. And then when you compile all everybody in the band's talents with it, it was just gothic goodness. My next one is going to be, I don't know, this kind of relates to my life choices and my love for the occult and everything put together in this Candlemass's Bewitched. That song fucking epitomizes darkness for me. With the first intro lyrics is evil in me, look into my eyes. It's the truth. There's darkness in everybody. It's what you do with it is what you do with it.
Most people don't have the balance. Some people are afraid to let that darkness be more at the forefront. And the ones that do, I think, are more balanced than most people. Because when you think about it, people try so fucking hard to be a goody goody, I guess, if you want to put it that way. Again, that comes back to being programmed by society. Being a dark individual doesn't make you evil. It doesn't make you a bad person. It's more or less drives you to excel, drives you to be more creative. And man, there's no better band that I could think of, because yes, we can say Black Sabbath started doom metal, but at the end of the day, though, it was Candlemass that solidified doom metal at its inception, like made it a true subgenre within the metal, realm. Yes, absolutely. Achilles says the entire album from Candlemass is the best of them all.
It's like
I couldn't agree more with him on that.
Black Sabbath had doom metal at 10. Fucking Candlemass took and turned that shit up to 11.
Yo, man, probably 20
But
until Saint Vitus came around.
yeah.
Oh, and let's not forget Paradise Lost.
I love fucking Paradise Lost.
Mm-hmm. Lizzie says, I'm dying. Mortimer just said the song that epitomizes all that is dark and evil in this world is Mariah Carey.
I fucking hate that song, man.
Take a quick look on my regular profile. You'll see my my little homage to that, because I feel like I've waited long enough. Everybody else has been starting to post it, because usually I'm the first one on the bandwagon to go, no. But I feel like the one I posted recently is.
I'm in Walmart's all damn day for work, and my earphones died today, and like all I heard was fucking Christmas music.
Unholy fuck.
So yeah.
It's like the only time that I can stomach any of that is if I'm watching one of two films, and that's because I love the actors and they make me laugh my fucking ass off. One of them is Elf. It's fucking great. Okay. Jim Carrey, The Grinch.
The Grinch.
Those two films right there, that's kind of the extent. I will kind of open up just a little bit more to Fred Claus.
And that's because
of, what's his name? I just think he's a badass. I can't help it. He's a great actor.
I can't remember his name either.
I know, isn't that sad?
my movies is I can't help it. I love the Santa Claus movies with Tim Allen.
They're not bad. Tim Allen is great as a Santa Claus.
And Jim Carrey's The Grinch, because that's the last movie I went to the theater with my grandma to watch. And when we went in, like it was nothing, like it was just cold. We come out, it was falling a damn blizzard.
Yeah, kind of feels like what it does right now where I'm at. Ain't quite the blizzard status, but we're getting there.
I wish. I want snow so damn bad. I hate the heat. I hate the
Oh, trust me, I know you do, man. I know you do. I think we finally made it to the top of our lists, right?
Yeah, I got 2 more left. I think that's where we was at.
Do you?
Yeah, we've done 8.
Who just went?
I did Candlemass.
Oh, okay. Oh, goodness. Okay. Let me double check my list just to make sure, because I know. Oh, yeah. There's one photo that didn't make it, but that's okay. Okay. So unfortunately, I don't have the photo for this one, and I'm not sure why it didn't make it. But there was a band that I interviewed 2 years ago, and it came out of when I was still playing professionally in the doom metal genre with Black Tar Superstar. And obviously, we formed so many relationships with bands online because of the COVID era. That's kind of how we built the indie doom metal genre strong during that period, because we were the working bands. We were the ones playing night after night, every fucking weekend, anywhere and everywhere we could go. And my band formed literally right before the lame ass fucking pandemic happened. And I got to know these guys out of Salem, Massachusetts, one of my favorite fucking places in this country.
That's on my bucket list to visit.
Oh my goodness, that's for another conversation. Trust me, because it's even cooler today than it was back when I used to go. But this band really epitomized doom metal to me in this country, like the sound of doom metal. This was before the rise of bands like King Buffalo and oh my goodness, there's so many different names. Temple of the Fuzz Witch, all the great bands that are really fucking killing it right now. But this band,
Moon Wizard,
Moon Wizard, yeah. Shit, there was one also called Frog Lord. He got real big during that era of the pandemic. But this band had something different. These guys were bona fide occult goodness. Kind of like a very LaVeyan kind of band. And yeah. I use their music a lot. As a matter of fact, it was on my post today for all my top 5 Indiegogo campaigns right now. But they are called Mother Iron Horse. And the song that I cite is Old Man Satan. And when you hear this song, it will do things to you. It's fuzzalicious. But when I heard that song back in 2020, that's when it was. I was like, what, 42, I think, 42, 43, somewhere in there. And I that song kind of like made me look at myself, and I'm like, I'm reading the lyrics because that's me. I'm that guy. I will read through lyrics to kind of, if I can't quite make out what they're saying, I'll read them so I can get a really good sense of what is this song about, because you can feel the passion from the first fucking few notes. And I'm sitting here going, this song is about me. You know, it's about being captivated by darkness. You know that your life you spent most of the time in the shadows, and that's kind of like the place you call home. And it's just a really good song. Not traditional doom vocals. This is very screamy. So I would almost call it blackened doom because of the vocal style.
Yeah.
Man, it just really kind of described me. I'm like looking back at my life, and I'm like, you know, that song really kind of epitomizes who I am today.
I'm gonna have to look them up now, because Black and Doom just sounds fucking amazing right now.
I'm telling you, because obviously you've heard Funeral Doom. Funeral Doom is basically black metal slowed the fuck down.
Yeah.
To an utter crawl. Black and Doom is basically like traditional fuzz, but you have aggressive vocal styles. They're not trying to be like
Similar to the Temple of the Fuzzweeds. Similar.
yeah, very much so.
Yeah. The Call to Pray.
But these guys are like a whole new level of heavy. So if you want to check them out, you can find them on Bandcamp, of course. But go to fucking Spotify. Everybody else does. Check out the video on YouTube. Mother Iron Horse, Old Man Satan. You're in for a fucking ride when every band member takes a hit of acid at the beginning of the video, and everything that ensues afterwards is just blasphemy goodness.
That would be fucking interesting to see live. Like,
oh, dude, they're high energy. Yeah, I want to say that they played Psycho Las Vegas back in 2022.
Oh damn.
Oh yeah,
well,
they're at a great stage in their career. That's for sure.
We're gonna jump to my current life. The next songs have come out within the past 2 years. And they're deathcore, surprise. But my first one's gonna be Distance False Gods. This band is from the Netherlands. They are fucking nasty. Y'all heard me say that before.
Yes, sir.
But it plays on my views of religion now. Like, I've always had a strong view on religion, which I grew up in church and all that, and just I never felt like I belonged. And as I grew, I got turned into a darker teenager. Now I'm a darker adult. But the first lyrics from this song, the first lyrics are, "I'm an abomination, I am hell's creation." and I'm the father of legion of serpents, the adversary of the false god. So you can see where it kind of leads. Like, they have really strong imagery with some of it's religious, but they talk about a variety of things in their music.
Yes.
And this song is just my thoughts and my feels for religion in my current life. So, and I love deathcore. So,
and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yep.
And we're songs like that, bands like that. Pagans. You don't necessarily have to be a Satanist in order to be considered the adversary or on the other side of the coin. Because that's one thing I will say about Christianity. They don't discriminate. If you're a heathen, you're a heathen. It doesn't matter what set of gods or goddesses that you follow. Automatically, you're one of them. So, and the funny part is, and I love this about new bands today, is that we're starting to make them the minority. And I feel like there's a reason for that, which is awesome. But again, I will always say it's not that we don't, it's not that we don't respect them. It's that they disrespect us.
Exactly.
So,
but that's one of the bands that, like, to me, like, I love different eras of metal, and like, just my favorite happens to be the current era, because guess what? I'm living that era. That's my era of metal. So, and like, but there's still, there's still black metal bands still coming out, heavy death metal, whatever you want to say.
Oh yeah,
deathcore Deathcore for me combines everything. You have nasty growls, you have technical breakdowns, you have everything in it. So,
yeah, I mean, you even have gravity blasts, half blasts, whatever, that you could find in other forms of extreme metal. Black metal, exactly where you're going. You're going into the omniverse, to the unknown.
Lead singer of Distant, I promise you, you could throw his ass in a black metal band and he would be just as badass as in deathcore.
You know, and I guarantee that. I think anyone that is in some of these really sick ass extreme metal bands could really cross purposes. I think we saw that with Coal Chamber and Devil Driver.
Yeah.
Whoever would have thought if you took that vocalist, put him in an extreme metal band, that extreme metal band did better than the mainstream success that the original band had.
Like the lead singer of Volbeat, he has a like a death metal band. So like you never think listen to Volbeat's lyrics, like he'd be that fucking heavy, I guess you could say.
Right. He could be that aggressive.
Yeah.
It's just like Phil Anselmo and Scour.
I just discovered that the other day.
Thick fucking track. Now, mind you, he's been doing all these bands synonymously for the past 5 to 6 years. And it's like every time he gets back with Scour, I feel like we have the darkest side of Phil Anselmo. And it's so good too.
Past the 90s Pantera, I think that's the best version of Phil Anselmo because it doesn't feel like he's.
Agreed.
I feel for me, it's like he's letting all his bullshit out.
Yep.
That's what I felt because I just discovered them the other day when I sent you the video. I didn't even know if you knew about them. I'm like,
oh yeah,
shit.
Oh man, you know, for a 53, 54-year-old man. Oh, fuck me. Are we back? I hope we're back. Audience, let me know if we are
I can hear you. I can hear your voice. I can hear your voice, but you was froze for a minute. You're good now.
Yeah, I feel that. I was just making sure. You just never know.
Technical
but yeah, definitely a fine metal band. Excellent choice. So my final one, because as I prefaced at the beginning, you know, my love for metal also started with Black Sabbath. For me, it was Iron Man. That was the song that, you know, took me at the beginning of my journey to now. But one of the bands that I currently, in my current life, that is always there, and it's a lot of doom metal bands that are coming out now or have been out for the last 10 years. But there's something extra special about this band because it features two of the most prolific parts of Type O Negative. And that's the guitarist and the drummer. And as soon as I heard this track, it became a romance. And it also kind of defines what it's like to almost be 50. Because there are so many people that I knew growing up that are dropping like flies. And here I am unscathed. And I feel like some of the shit that I've pulled in my life, I probably should be dead a 1,000 times. But when I listen to this song, I kind of feel that I'm already kind of, you know, I'm already very connected to the universe in very, very occult ways. We'll just put it that way. That I'm always feeling, you know, spirits and stuff like that. But A Pale Horse Named Death, Reflections of the Dead is the song that I cite for this. Just is kind of like a reminder that, you know, look how far I've come. I'm still here and I still have a ton of shit to do. And it's not a depressing thing for me. It's more like get your shit together, keep it tight, keep moving forward at all costs, no matter what comes your way.
Yep. I started listening to them when you mentioned them to me. Like I'm there for about 2 days. That's all I listened to while driving. Like they're fucking killer.
Just a sick fucking doom metal band, man,
I
all the way
love it.
around. And every song that they have, even though it seems like dark and dreary, it's something that literally everybody can relate to.
Yeah. I can't help it. Just a pale horse named Death just has that fucking ring to it, I guess you could say. But
Yes.
my last one is gonna be this is mine and Rebecca's song because
Aw.
that's what me and her got engaged to. I asked her to
Aw.
marry me during the Lorna Shore concert in Little Rock, Arkansas. And
Thank you, Little Rock.
he has lyrics in it. It says, I finally see that a world without you wasn't meant for me. And it's Lorna Shore's Pain Remains One.
Wow.
Like I asked her because there's two songs. Like my favorite one's always gonna be To the Hellfire.
Right,
But
right.
this was the song that I always played for her. And then I looked at her and I said, this song or To the Hellfire? And she was confused as fuck for a minute. She said, by the time she made up her mind, she said this one. And that's right when those lyrics hit. So I had it wrote on a piece of paper and I handed it to her because I wasn't going to be able she could hear it in there. And I don't know. And that's that's like my current favorite song by them. But I love everything Lorna Shore does. So
Well, yeah. I mean, unholy fuck.
Will is a goddamn monster.
No, nobody saw that band coming. Not in 1,000 million years.
CJ wasn't bad.
Especially
Was
out of Florida.
their original singer was CJ. Like he wasn't bad.
Mhm.
But when you hear Will Ramos do the song he did, Funeral Portrait, you knew that that's where Will belonged.
You knew that Will belonged there and that he was not human. The fact that that man's voice can do at the drop of a dime a different voice, a different spooky, creepy entity at any given moment.
Way he
changed
goes
the
from the
game.
fucking high pitched back to guttural, then he goes the goblin voice all in one fucking
Right?
one
All in one
switch.
breath.
And like you can, if y'all want to, you can go on YouTube right now. Y'all can
Yep.
watch him run a camera up his nose and down his throat, and you can watch how his vocal cords and he can torch his throat and everything. Because it's interesting shit. If you're a metalhead, goddamn, 99% of us wish we could do that shit. So
That's what I was gonna say. Like everybody in the metal world wish they could have a voice like that they could just interchange.
it's for me. It's Angel Maker has a similar squeal as to Danny Fields, but it's more nasty. Take Danny Fields, but it's clean, it's there, but add a little bit more grit to it, and that's how Angel Maker does.
Mhm.
And they'll do it with a pig squeal, and then that mixed with Will's goblin voices, I wished I could do.
Oh man. Oh, it's crazy. And there's ladies out there too that can get pretty fucking close.
The
To what
original
Will's
fucking
doing.
lead singer of Arch Enemy. Like I didn't know
Oh,
that was a female for the longest.
right. I mean, but there's bands right now, and I think I put a video of hers up on one of the goddamn program episodes, just to be like, yeah, I saw this and was blown away. She could do she could do the witch scream, she could do the black scream, the low gutturals. You don't know it's her, even though you're watching her do it. And then the cleanest, most beautiful, like operatic vocal lines ever. And it doesn't hurt this woman's voice. And I'm just like, wow.
Because naturally, you're gonna think a female can do that. Danny Fields high pitch, but
which is tough.
They just naturally have a higher pitched voice than a man. Exactly. But when that fucking demon guttural comes out, something's.
I mean, it's really something to behold, and I think that people today more than they ever did realize that this is a true talented thing, whether you like it or you don't, because that's really what it comes down to. But for those that do like it, we're blown away because there's so many different voices that they're able to do.
If anybody
and then put that over a fucking super talented band, it's like, what in the fuck just kicked my ass?
If anybody's interested in starting to listen to deathcore, start with Lorna Shore, Distant, Enterprise Earth, Of Sulfur, and Crown Magnetar. Those are going to be 5 bands that are going to beat your ass. And I've seen every one of them live too. So, but Enterprise Earth they're there. Crown Magnetar, it's all some nasty shit. Just put it that way.
Definitely. Now, obviously, everyone's soundtrack to their life is going to sound different. I mean, there's anything from like 80s pop to, industrial stuff like Skinny Puppy and Depeche Mode and shit that will definitely pop up in my
I have a little bit of metalcore in mine. I'm sorry, but it's there.
Well, sure. It's gonna be there.
Killswitch Engage, Bullet for My Valentine, Trivium.
There's gonna be country. There's gonna be shit. There's gonna be Frank fucking Sinatra for me. You
gotta love classical shit because that's where everything evolved from.
Exactly right. Even some of the most classic 50s tunes that were doo-wop, just all kinds of stuff. Make up disco. I'm sorry, Lizzie, but hell no.
I can't do no disco. I'll take that back. My mom was a Bee Gees fan, so I had to suffer through it a little bit.
Right. Everybody knows that classic, Staying Alive, obviously. Yep. Everybody knows, right? Everybody knows YMCA, because if you've ever been to a wedding, it's there. And that's why we like it, because it belongs there. It doesn't belong on our soundtrack. Those were just little music. That's like saying the fucking Chicken Dance song, or what's that other big dance? The Cleveland Shuffle, the Hustle. Any of those fucking songs. You know what I'm saying? Lizzie says Aaron said he likes disco because it gets him laid. Hey, brother, if that works for you, stick to it, man.
I can't imagine getting down to a disco song. That's just gonna be boring as fuck. And I'm like,
the only thing I would say is that I think era-wise, it would make more sense.
Yeah.
But, and this gives us something that, when Valentine's Day comes around, what a Valentine's Day playlist metal-wise, will look like. Because there are bands that we didn't even discuss, that very much, especially from today's metal world, that are there, and I can mention quite a few. When I think about me and my wife, I think about probably about 30 to 40 songs over, a 3-year period, that is in our current soundtrack that I haven't even fleshed out. So this is something for y'all to really think about. Yeah. From since you were little to where you are today, there are those songs that you hear them and that memory comes out. That's what this whole thing's about. It's like, what memories do you get triggered when you hear certain metal songs? And I think everybody did a fantastic fucking job tonight.
Minus the disco.
Minus the disco, right? But I look forward to hearing so many more. So even though, that was this episode, don't be afraid to hit us up, on Messenger and shit like that. Let us know what some of those other songs are. It would be really cool to hear. The ones you guys shared tonight, I thought were epic as fuck. We totally appreciate that shit. And looking forward through the looking glass, as it were, for the rest of the week here on Morgrot Entertainment. Tomorrow night, join me and Brother Mortimer for another edition of the Horror Barbecue, 8 p.m. CST, and an interview that was supposed to happen last Thursday, but unfortunately we were not able to make it happen. But Thursday night at 9:30 p.m. CST, we welcome on It's Time to Talk About True Crime. That's right. Offbeat Horror is going to be joining us in the underground. And then Friday night, we're finally putting, the Mistress of Sin, as she is known, but Sydney from the goddamn program, to talk about her evolution of, the book that she has out and her getting into acting and podcasting. So she'll be with us Friday night. And then, of course, as you know, Saturday night is, oh yeah, Ready to Sin. So if you're ready to sin, join me, myself, the Defiler, and I have to double check. We may have a special guest for that particular edition because I believe Sydney does have filming on Saturday. So we might have a special guest with us that evening. So stay tuned for that. We appreciate you all joining us tonight and picking Morgrot Entertainment for your Tuesday night guilty pleasure. I don't know why. I just like the way that sounds. That's why I'm sticking with it.
It sounds fucking amazing.
Ever since, disco was brought up, because that is a lot of people's, guilty pleasures as far as music goes. But the most important thing is to stay heavy.
Thank you for joining us on Reapers Underground. Stay tuned.